Hi, let's talk about tips for Foley. This class is important to give more creativity, especially when we talk about sound editing, about films. But first, let's understand what is Foley Art. Is the sound effect created during the post-production to improve audio quality. So imagine you have a video or a moment in a scene and the sound is not good, or we didn't even have the sound. So what is important to do? It's important to make it again. For example, a bird flying, or fire, or water, or a ship in the middle of the ocean. It's important to have sound effects, because when a scene has sound effect, even more sound effect than the reality, we give to the viewer much more emotion, and that's what we want. We want emotion. So sometimes that sound that it's natural from the scene, it's not enough. We need to put a little bit more, we need to emphasize, and so the viewer has more impact. For example, in this scene we don't have the sound of the fabric, but we put it in the edition. We give to the viewer much more atmosphere, much more environment, and much more emotion. So it's important to think about the sound effect, and they don't really need to be like we have the reality. We have fiction, and everything is a magic world, so we may do it. And because this, I'm gonna to give you some tips, okay? We're gonna have here 3 tips. The first one, it's not always necessary to use the same materials as the videos. It's possible to suggest the viewer. For example, take a look at this image. Did you get that was a plastic sound? I think you didn't, because you saw the fire, so I suggested you. And when you hear this, it's fire, you're not going to imagine this is a plastic. And I know it's similar, and it's easier. It's much easier to make it. I'm not going to put fire here, so this is easier. Even it's better. So it's possible to make that when we are making Foley and when we are working on the sound of a film. It's quite interesting and it works. I'm gonna give you another example. Take a look. Did you get it was an umbrella? I think you didn't. So I just used an umbrella, a plastic. So we are working in our sound and in an easy way and a viable way and efficient. And so we have a better sound in our movies, because how I'm gonna get the sound of wings from a bird, this type of amazing bird? So we may suggest the viewer, because we are not using the same material, but it's enough and it's viable. And now we have a second tip. Use the contradictions and be funny or even dramatic. Take a look at this image. And what is the sound? This is a thunder. And what is the meaning? Oh, it's because she is getting that it's raining outside. It's not only this. It's it's a threat, it's something that it's coming, because it's a dark image and she's wearing red. So wait a moment, did I produce the thunder effect, or did I search here in the internet? Honestly, I've searched, because it's much easier. I could try to create something. I could think about having a box and put some stones inside and try to make it a storm. But okay, but I found pretty easier in the internet. So why am I producing? So this is an interesting point. Sometimes search is better than produce, because when we are working, we need to think, am I working smarter or harder? And we need to work smarter. So this is the third tip, and it's very important. Produce or search. Pay attention when it's more efficient to produce or to look for a ready-made sound. In that example that I showed you, a thunder is easier to search than to produce. But take a look at this example. See it? I am here with a high heel, so I could make the Foley art here. In this situation, it's easier to make it than to search for it. I know that internet has thousands of sound effects, YouTube has, it's easier, but it's hard to put in this situation, because we are not going to have the same step rhythm. That's hard to do. Take a look. I could be hours here, search for a proper sound effect to put in this video, and I would spend a lot of time. So it's easier to wear a high heels and watch it. So I am doing the art Foley, and it's more efficient in this situation, right? And I hope I help it in this class. And if you want to have a complete course, I invite you to take my course From Script to Video, How to Transform a Story into a Movie. You have the link here below, and I hope I have you as my students. And I see you in the next class.